Hey guys, it's Spooky Noodles, and I hope all you spooky people are having a great day. I have come at you with a collection video that I don't think I've done yet. I'm actually looking through my previous videos, and I was looking at some of the collections I've done. I was surprised I did a Clive Barker one and a Ronald Kelly one too. I was surprised I did those two because I didn't have that many books at the time by those two authors, but my collection has grown for those two authors, and yeah, I probably missed the mark and should have waited a little bit, but this one I actually have a lot of Douglas Clegg. This is a collection for Douglas Clegg. I have a decent amount of books by him. I don't own all of his books, and I have no idea how many books he has out there. But I do have a big chunk here, and I have a very special book in this pile as well that I'll save for last. And you probably have already seen it if you're a follower of this channel, but maybe you'll be surprised, I don't know. But first, we'll talk about this book. Oh, and by the way, I have not read a single Douglas Clegg book yet, and if I'm saying his name wrong, I apologize also. Douglas Clegg is a book, or author, that I'm really looking forward to getting into. I am going to read one of his books next Halloween, and I'll get to that book when I get to that book. I have one of his, two of his books in my coming of age TBR pile. One of them is still being shipped to me, so you'll see that in a book haul soon. But yeah, the other one is just in my TBR pile, and you will see that one later on the list. But we're gonna start with Dark of the Eye. I know my dyslexia hates the name of this book because I'm like, the Dark of the Eye and Dark and the Eye. I'm always screwing it up, but it's Dark of the Eye. I don't know what it's about. It has a good little thing from Robert R. McCammon saying Clegg is a weaver of nightmares. Dream weaver. So let me read the back for you guys because I don't have that many books, so I have enough time to read you the backs for some of these books just to see if you guys are interested. I hear great things about this author, and I hear that his coming of age story is one of the best ever, and I just recently found out that it's, well, I'll get to it when I get to it. This is Dark of the Eye by Douglas Clegg, and let's read the summary. A tragic accident left 11-year-old Hope Stewart with an extraordinary power that is both blessing and a curse. Her touch alone can heal those suffering from horrifying afflictions, or subject them to an unspeakable fate. Now, a once innocent child has become the prey in a monstrous hunt. Her scientist father is determined to exploit her frightening gift. A relentless government agent is out to kill her, and a damaged soul called Monkey vows to deliver her to the mercies of the fiendish forces he serves. So this is about a psychic child. That's pretty cool. Or not a psychic child per se, but a child with powers. That's a really cool. I like those type of books. I haven't read a lot of them, but I think I've read one or two. Like I read Stinger, and this sounds a lot like Stinger, except the daughter is an alien, and the alien's actually possessing the daughter, so it's not really the daughter. But different ways to get to that point. It reminds me of Stinger, kind of. So I'll put this book down and we'll move on to the next. Now, I will reorder these so I can talk about this one first. And that is The Halloween Man, which is a book that I'm waiting to read for Halloween next year. Does it have to do with Halloween? I have no idea, but the book is called The Halloween Man, so I'd imagine so. Just by the title alone, I would think this is like The October Boys by Adam Millard. That's what it sounds like to me. You know, there's a man on Halloween. It's just, yeah. I forgot where I was going with that, so let me read the back for you guys. Oh, I don't know if I showed you the cover or not, but The Halloween Man. New England, a town where it rained blood. The New England coastal town of Stonehaven had a history of nightmares and the dark secrets. But when Stony Crawford fell in love with beautiful Loretta's Maria Castiello, Castillo, I said it right the first time, he became an unwitting pawn in a game of horror and darkness, in a game that had been played since long before his birth. Now evil stalks the night. The Halloween man walks when the screaming begins, and only Stony Crawford holds the key to the chilling mystery of Stonehaven, and to the power of the unspeakable creature trapped within the summer mansion. Okay, now, after reading that, it's nothing like the October Boys. It's more like Usher's Passing by Robert R. McCammon. There's a mansion, there's a monster, like in I forgot the name of the book now. Usher's Passing. There's a creature called the Pumpkin Man or Pumpkinhead or something like that. I forget what it was, the Pumpkin Man. And he went around killing people basically, and then there was a mansion, so there was like two side stories going on, and it was really confusing. I did not like Usher's Passing. If you know me, then you know I wasn't a fan of Usher's Passing, but this sounds like a lot like Usher's Passing, so I might give this one a read. I don't know. I'm gonna read this next Halloween. It's 360 pages long. And is it in first person? I don't think so. No, it's not. So yeah. So that's Halloween Man. Next we have Naomi by Douglas Clegg. It has a car going through or is it a train station? I can't tell, honestly. The cover's not that great. But let's read the back for you guys. And sorry I keep going over here to read, but there's like no room on my bed because Lula, I love you, Lou, she decided to take up all the room. So yeah. But let's get into this book, shall we? The subways of Manhattan are only the first stage of Jack Richmond's descent into the vast subterranean passageways beneath the city, and the discovery of a mystery and a terror greater than any human being could imagine. Naomi went into the tunnels to destroy herself, but found an even more terrible fate waiting her in the twisting corridors. And now the man who loves Naomi must find her and bring her back to the world of the living, a world where a New York brownstone holds a burial ground of those accused of witchcraft, where the secrets of the living may be found within the ancient diary of a witch, and where a creature known only as the Serpent has escaped its bounds at last. So, this is a train. It's really hard to make out though, but I see it now. I can't say what this book reminds me of because it doesn't really remind me of anything. Can't wait to give it a read. I say that with hesitance because it didn't really spark any interest. Like didn't read the back and was like, "Ooh, I gotta read this." It just sounds like oh, we'll see when I get to it. All right, next we have The Attraction. Now this covers a little bit better. It has this like old, rusted looking gas station. It has this blurb by Peter Straub saying Douglas Clegg has become a new star in horror fiction. And there's the cover for you guys if you can make it out. It's hard because my camera on my laptop's sucky. One day I'll get my own camera and I will professionally record stuff, but for now we're running with the laptop. And let's read the back. Oh, strap in, it's a long one too. The signs all along the desert highway read, "Come see the mystery." But some mysteries should remain buried forever. Charlie Goodrow, owner of the Breakdown Palace Gas and Sundries, tells anyone who stops for a fill-up about the mysterious attraction in back. It's the mummified remains of an ancient legendary flesh scraper, whose job had been to scrape the flesh off the bones of human sacrifices. When a car filled with teenagers gets a flat tire out in the middle of Arizona heat, the kids figure they have time to check out the mystery. Behind curtains in a glass case lies a small withered corpse with very long fingernails. Above it, tracked on the wall, it's a sign. Do not touch, do not feed, but it has to be a hoax, right? How could the kids know that feeding the mystery will be the worst mistake of their lives? How could they know that the flesh scraper is hungry for flesh? I just whistled, I'm sorry about that. But before I got to that last part, it was reminding me kind of like especially with the cover, it was reminding me of the Hills Have Eyes, the new one. I don't know, I never seen the old one, but the remake of Hills Have Eyes sounds a lot like that. But then I heard about the kids like going and seeing the mystery and feeding it, which kind of reminds me like I can't remember the name of the book. In fact, I never even read the book, to be honest, so if I mention a book and it has nothing to do with it, I don't know. I'm just not gonna say it. So that's The Attraction by Douglas Clegg. Getting down to the last 3 books here. And this is the one my most anticipated read from Douglas Clegg. All of his books sound okay to me, but this book, well, actually, Dark of the Eye sounded pretty good. But the past 3 books have kind of been a little, they haven't really, shot anything in my brain. I haven't really, had the urge to pick it up and read it right away. But this one actually did it for me. I started reading a little bit and I almost didn't put it down because I was reading another book at the time, which I recently decided to put down for a little while. Not because it's bad or anything, but just because it's Halloween's over, or Christmas is over, and it's time to read books that aren't about Christmas and books about Christmas. I just did not get around to reading as much as I hoped. I was working a lot with UPS, and I just didn't get around to reading the book as much as I wanted to. But now I got a little bit more time to read a little bit, so I'm going to take that time and read or make videos like I'm doing now. And yeah, so I started the beginning of the story there. Let's loop back a little bit. I picked this book up in a one of my coming of age TBR update things, videos that went on for like an hour and 20 minutes, way more than I wanted it to go. Sometimes I get lost in speaking, and I talk pretty slow, so the video goes like super long. But I started reading this book and I almost didn't stop myself. Like I started reading a little bit and I had to stop myself because I knew once I start, I'm gonna read this whole freaking thing. And I kind of want to savor this book a little bit. This book sounds really good, and the last time I read a first-person narrative that was coming of age, I absolutely adored it. And that was The Traveling Vampire Show by Richard Lehman. And the book I'm talking about is Neverland by Douglas Clegg. This book is like I read the back and it didn't really like suck me in at all. So whoever wrote the summary for this should be fired because the summary didn't suck me in at all. But then I read a little bit of the book and I was immediately like infatuated. So, but I'll read you the summary. You guys can decide whether you want to read it or not. But if you take my advice, I would just throw the summary in the trash and read the book because that's, I don't like the summary that much. It doesn't pull me into the book at all. But when I started reading a little bit of it, it's like, really good. But I'll show you what I mean in a second. High on a bluff, looking out on the ocean, is an ancient shack, a secret place called Neverland. Here on Gull Island, a misbegotten spit of the Georgia coast, young Bayou Jackson joins his cousin Sumter in strange, sinister games, rituals that grow into a sickening explosion of pure evil. Soon a tide of blood fury will rise, swamping the island in a raging, all-engulfing sea of merciless terror. Like, I maybe that will pull some people in, but it didn't pull me in at all. I was like, okay, so sounds like you're giving away the whole book right there, but but then I started reading the prologue. It starts off with this. 1. No grown-ups. Among other words we wrote across the walls, some in chalk, some with spray paint. These two words were what my cousin Sumter believed in most. There were other words. Some of them were written in blood. So I was like, oh. So then I just started reading more, and I was like, oh wait, I'm in the middle of a video. I better stop, you know. But it's written in the first person, and I'm very excited to give it a shot. This is considered one of his best books, and it's a coming of age book. So obviously I have to give it a read, and I'm going to enjoy it. I already know I'm going to enjoy it. Yeah. So now we're down to the last two books, and to be honest, the last two books are one and the same, but I'm gonna show it to you separately anyways. It's a very nice copy, by the way. Most of these copies have really bad creases or spines. The spines are completely broken on all of them, and some of them are peeling. But this book has been, like, never been cracked open. And you might be saying, well, who's Andrew Harper? I thought this was a collection for Douglas Clegg. Well, my dear friend, before you think that, just think about this. How authors have pen names. And this was actually a pen name for Douglas Clegg. Andrew Harper. He wrote, I think, 3 stories under this pen name. I'm probably definitely wrong. He might even have more pen names that I'm not aware of. But he wrote Red Angel, Night Cage, and Bad Karma. And he might have written more under this pen name, but I'm not sure. Then he decided to use his own name, and he blew up after that, I guess. He's a Bram Stoker Award winner, and what else can I say about the dude other than he's an amazing writer, I guess. I haven't read him yet, but I read a little bit of his coming of age story, and I enjoyed it, what I read. Unfortunately, I'm getting into something else at the moment. I'm about an hour and a half into The Voice of the Night by Dean Koontz, and it's going okay. There's been some cringy moments, like writing-wise, that I wasn't a big fan of. I feel like the kids would use different words, or they would say different things in certain situations, and it just seems a little far-fetched at times. Not far-fetched, but it felt weird. Like, the writing felt a little weird. But I'm enjoying the book nevertheless. Like I said, I'm an hour and a half into it. There's 8 hours into the book, or 8 hours in the book, so I'm gonna be listening to it about like 2 hours a day. So I should finish it in like no time. Maybe in math-wise, it should be like 4 days, but it will probably take me like 8 days to finish it. Just because I don't get that much time to listen to stuff, but I try to do 2 hours of audiobook a day. Then I try 30 minutes of writing. Then I try to read a little bit. Obviously, not days go differently, where sometimes I'm doing something totally different, where other times I have time to do all this stuff. I got Jamesy hair in my mouth, sorry. But yeah, this is Andrew Harper. I totally got off base. Sorry about that. Andrew Harper's Night Cage, which is Douglas Clegg's Night Cage. And I'll read the back for you guys. The inmates of the Darden State Hospital for Criminal Justice are among the most dangerous psychopathic killers in the country. Now, while fires burn out of control in Southern California, authorities face the overwhelming task of relocating hundreds of these patients in just a few frantic hours before the raging inferno descends upon the hospital grounds. But in the frenzy, 2 of the murderers remain behind, unaccounted for. Bloody Mary! Chilmark and her son, Doc, discovered the entrance of the underground passageways beneath Darden State in the desperate bid to escape. Instead, they find the Night Cage, a special room where brutal experiments were once carried out in the hospital's grim past. Bloody Mary and Doc have taken a hostage and are eager to play. It's up to Trey Campbell and Officer Jane Lehman to race against the time to hunt for the killers and in the dark underworld maze, but there may be no escape from the Night Cage. So that, I don't know about you guys, but that summary kind of confused me a little bit of what this book is about. Maybe it's the way I read it. Probably it's the way I read it. But I'll just hold it up for you guys. You guys aren't going to be able to read that. It sounds like, so this hospital burns down and 2 people escape, it sounds like. Then a long time later, this person, I honestly, I have no idea. We'll just have to read it. And then last and definitely not least, because this is probably the biggest thing in this whole collection that I own, I gotta take it out of the plastic wrapping. I will put it right back into plastic wrapping because this is a special book by Cemetery Dance Publications, and that is Night Cage by Andrew Harper. And you might be thinking, oh, it's Douglas Clegg, so I wonder, did he sign it Douglas Clegg or Andrew Harper? And he signed it with his name, Douglas Clegg. You barely can see that, but it says Douglas Clegg. This is 234 of 652 numbered copies. And I don't think there's any pictures in this. No, there's no pictures in this. It's just the book. And I'm very excited to own this. I can't wait to read Douglas Clegg. But this is a special book. The cover is amazing. I think it far exceeds the paperback version. But usually Cemetery Dance, Thunderstorm Books, and Subterranean Press, or whatever it's called, they all do good jobs with their covers usually. There's only been a few times where I've looked at the cover and was like, that looks dumb. But they did a good job with Night Cage. See, it's back in the paper wrapper, plastic wrapper. And yeah, so, you know, I'm gonna try to hold them up for you guys. I have big hands, but I feel like the books are gonna, you know, fly open. But that's my Douglas Clegg collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this little collection video. Douglas Clegg was a writer. He still writes today. I think I follow him on Facebook, and I think he has a new book coming out soon. He's a great writer, I hear, and I can't wait to give him a shot. I'm gonna start with Neverland, then I'm gonna make my way through his books. Probably start after Neverland, probably down the line I'll get around to Halloween Man, and then I'll probably read Night Cage, because Night Cage looks very interesting. I don't know when I'm gonna read these books. I know Halloween, I want to read the Halloween Man, and then Night Cage, I don't know when I'm gonna get to it. Now that I'm thinking about the Halloween Man, though, how much it reminds me of Usher's Passing, it makes me not really want to read it that much, because I did not like Usher's Passing, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I gotta put this book back in my coming of age TBR pile. But yeah, I hope you guys had a great day. Hope you guys had a spooky night. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Alright, bye guys.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.